Okay, very warm good morning to everyone. Today, first of all, I would like to thank our management and our principals, sir, who have introduced such a great platform for us and for our student as well to enlighten our knowledge. Basically, so today we have a webinar come workshop on the human values, which are the basic ethics of every human in their life, and without which nothing is possible in our lives. So we're going to start up with the webinar. But first of all, I would like to introduce our principal sir and all the panelists that we have today and our speakers as well. First of all, I would like to speak about and I would like to introduce our principal chef, Professor Anand Mittal. Well, he is a postgraduate and business administration human resource. He completed his 3 years diploma in hotel management and catering in 1986. He has a rich and imitable blend of hotel industry and academic experience across levels. 12 years as a chef in five-star hotel of India and abroad, and a 17 years as a senior academician in renowned accredited hotel management institutions. Besides being active in research, consultancy, recruiting, and writing for magazines, websites, and journals of national and international importance, he conducts customized training for the staff of various hospitality organizations and catering institutes. In his life, he has a great mission to train people so that they become successful professionals of this wonderful service industry. Next, I would like to
Thank
introduce
you,
our
Abhishek.
panelists. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to introduce our panelists and our speakers. First, I would like to talk about Mr. Azhar Hussain. Well, he's working as an associate professor in food and beverage service department, and he's a coordinator as well in IHM Meerut for past 4 years. He has done his master's in hotel management from Uttarakhand Open University, batch is 2017 to 19. Well, he has got a rich industry experience working with the finest resort in India and UAE for 11 years. He has worked as a team member of a pre-opening team basically in Atlantis Resort located on man-made island, that's Jumeirah Beach. He has also worked as an assistant sommelier profile, taking care of the wine cellar with a capacity of 1200 different varieties of wines from New World and Old World. Next, I would like to talk about Mr. Saurabh Chandra. Mr. Saurabh Chandra, he's a mechanical engineer and he has done his master's in marketing management, and he has experience in various industries. He is working in IHM for past 12 years. He is also taking care of the subject like hotel engineering, strategic management, facility planning, human values, and professional ethics. Last, I would like to talk about Miss Pinky. She was the speaker today's webinar. Well, she's from Lucknow and she has done BTech in computer science from BBS College of Engineering and Technology, Allahabad. MTech in CS from Calcutta University, Greater Noida, and overall she is having a 5.5 years of teaching experience and currently working with IHM Meerut. Last but not least, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Abhishek Charles Peter, and I'm working with IHM Meerut for past 3.5 years, and I'm a lecturer of front office. And in total, I have 8 years of experience in hospitality sector. Well, thank you very much. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Pinky on the platform, and please, you're invited to come and share your valuable thoughts on the human values and enlighten us with your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek sir,
Welcome, Pinky.
for introducing me. Let's start with the presentation. I share my screen.
Human values and professional ethics.
So, good morning, all. My name is Pinky. Today, I am going to cover the topic of human values and professional ethics. So, first of all, I would like to concern with the why we study this subject in school level or the university level. So, as we know, in the universe, all the human beings coexist with their family, society, nature. So, only so HVP deals with the importance of human being needs. So, if we talk about the needs of the people, they tell the human being tell us that the only earning the money or to get a good job, this is the importance of the human beings, but it is not true. So for correcting these thoughts, we need to go through this subject. So in actual, all the human beings needs only two things. The first one is happiness and the second one is prosperity. So for getting these two needs or fulfilling these two needs, we need to right right understanding and the right utilization. So the right understanding and the right utilization should be at the individual level, family level, society level, nature and its existence. So only with the help of the education we can develop the right understanding in all the human beings. So first of all, I would like to discuss what is the need for the value education. So education has the responsibility to facilitate the understanding of what to do, what is valuable as a human being. The second one is learning how to do, in which skills and technology is required. So there may be two questions. Are both required, or we can do with just one of them? So answer is both are
Both.
important.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. Second question may be what would be the priority between these two? The first, so the priority, the understanding, first priority would be the understanding what to do, and the second one is learning how to do.
How to?
So we saw that the first issue is that we need to understand what to do and we need to learn how to do it. To understand what to do, we need the value education, as well as in the second part, in order to assure that this, we need to get into the details of the things, for which we need a holistic perspective. To develop a holistic perspective, we need value
Value
education.
education.
So that is the need of the value education. Okay. So next, there may be some of your question there is a need for the value education in today's world? So answer is the need is urgent.
Urgent.
Can values be taught in the classroom? We have the facility to student to discover the values within themselves. Is the teaching effective? In this experiment so far, the results have been quite encouraging. So can our teacher teach it? Yes, preparations required.
Yeah, we have
Okay,
four
so
teachers who are trained in human values. All the four teachers are here with us, and yes, it is possible. Yes, please carry on.
yes, thank you, sir. So what are the guidelines for the value education? The first one is universal, means whatever we are going to teach in the classroom or to the student, all should be categorized into four forms. The first one is universal. Whatever is studied as a value education needs to be universally applicable to all the human
Human
beings
beings.
and be true at all the times and at all places. It should not be depend upon the sect, creed, nationality, race, gender, etc. The second one is rational. So it has to be amenable to logical reasoning. It should not be based on the blind
Blind
beliefs.
beliefs.
Third, third one is verifiable. The student should be able to verify the values by checking with one's own experience, and it is not asked believe just because it is stated in the course. Fourth one is leading to harmony. So when we talk about the harmony, the value have to enable us to live in peace and harmony with our own self as well as with others, like human beings, rest of the nature, with the individual, society, family, or etc. So what is the content of the value education? Holistic, all the encompassing, covers 4 dimensions in an as an individual. The first one is thought, then behavior, work, understanding, and self-realization. For example, if we talk about the thought, in thought, we want to have clarity. Clarity means state of resolution, not the confusion or state of problem. It also covers all the 4 levels as a society, means individual, family, society, nature, and existence. For example, as a family, society, we need trust, not the fear. So what is next? I will cover the role of education. So when we talk about the role of the education, it facilitates the development of the competence to live with the definite human conduct. What is the definite human conduct? Means conduct in accordance with one's natural acceptance. So what are the basis of the definiteness of the conduct? We can say that all units around us exhibit the definite conduct except the human being. Like trees, plant, etc., conduct is based on their seed. Cow or other animals, conduct is based on their breed. Human being, conduct is based on their education and sanskar. Yes, sir. So what is the role of education and sanskar? So basically it enables the transformation of human consciousness or holistic development by way of ensuring the development of competence to live with definite human conduct. Education, in one line we can define, then developing the right understanding of what to do, and sanskar, commitment, preparation, practice for the right living. And preparation includes the learning right skills and the technology how to do. Okay, for this, the education sanskar has to ensure the first one is right understanding in the self of every child. The second one is the capacity to live in the relationship with the other human being. And next one is the capacity to identify the need of physical facilities and the skills and practice for sustainable production of more than what is required, leading to the feeling of prosperity. So these are the 3 components of the human education sanskar if it has to ensure the development of definite human conduct. So parents, teacher, society, environment have the responsibility to providing such education and sanskar. So now come to the this diagram. This diagram shows us the transformation of human consciousness. So in this the first we have to focus on the right understanding which is missing in human beings. The second one is relationship with human beings. This is also missing in the human beings. And the last one is physical facility with the rest of the nature, because in today's world all persons or human beings believe that if they have the physical facilities then they are happy. If they don't have the if they don't have the physical facility, they are unhappy. So we need to arrange this these 3 points in a way in which we can transform the human consciousness. So the first, we will give the priority to the right understanding, then second, the relationship with the human beings, and the third one is
Physical facility.
so the third point is physical facility with the rest of the nature.
Nature.
Okay, yes, sir. So first we have to understand in which priority we have to arrange these 3 points. So we for transformation progress of a human consciousness, we need to arrange the right understanding at the first priority, and the second one is the relationship, and third one is the physical facility. So with the help of the right understanding and the relationship with the human being, we can get the mutual happiness, and with the right understanding and the physical facility, we can achieve the mutual prosperity. So when we conclude when we include all these 3 points, we can get the human consciousness, or we can get the overall development of right understanding of a human being.
Shabash.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
good. Very good. Thank you, Pinky.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Pinky, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us and
Thank you, sir.
explaining the importance of value education and what is the meaning of prosperity, basically, and how we can bring prosperity in our life. With a proper diagram, you make us understand. So, thank you very much for your valuable thoughts. Now, next, I would like to call Mr. Azhar Hussain. Come on the platform and share your valuable thoughts regarding the human values. Mr. Azhar.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abhishek, and thank you so much, Ms. Pinky. The explanation was really nice. What is the real meaning of value education? I mean, what is the meaning of why we educate? So that is the core of the whole talk, and it was delivered wonderfully. Now I will be touching upon some human behaviors, human characters, and human dealings. So I'm going to share my screen here. Visible here. So my topic is based on the idea that greatness starts from inside out. So whatever greatness we want to bring, it will not come from outside, it will come from within. First of all, I will explain about paradigm. So paradigm is a Greek word actually, and it was originally scientific term and commonly mean today a model, theory, perception, assumption, or frame of reference. How somebody, a person, how he understand a thing, that is called his paradigm. So here, we are not creator of our perception. So whatever perception we are having, it is not our own perception. It is influenced by the religion where we have born, and the family where we have the education system, and the other things. So it is like a map which we build in our mind to see the things outside in the world. Each of us has many maps in our head, which can be divided into 2 categories. So we can see here the perception, whatever we have in our mind. So we have created an image of the things, and reality is totally different. So reality can be different for different people. It can be the same thing can be different for me. For different person, it can be different based on the values and principle and the education he has got, and the family he has born, and the way he has been raised. So all these things depend. So this perception varies, and it depends on our values. Now we'll see what is character. Character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. So that is the character here. And how character is built? Character is a composite of our habits. So whatever habits we have, that makes our character. Habits are built. We heard so many times, we hear that what is proactive. So meaning we are responsible of our lives.
एक मिनट
We have responsibility
अजहर
to
एक मिनट
make things happen. Yes.
अजहर वो जो इससे पहले वाली स्लाइड थी ना, वहां से दोबारा से कर, और थोड़ा डोंट गो सो फास्ट यार, थोड़ा देखने तो देना, और इससे पहले.
Yes. So what is character? If you see, the character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. So it is not just to show somebody. When we change our values, when we change our principles, and we work accordingly, then we build our character. So character is the result of your daily routine. When daily routine becomes your habit and habit becomes your character. So if we can see here, the character is a composite of our habits, and our habit comes from our whatever we do on daily basis, and that defines our effectiveness or ineffectiveness. So whether we are effective or ineffective, these are the things which play a very vital role. Here we'll talk a little bit about being proactive. So proactive, we hear so many times, being proactive. So the meaning of being proactive is basically taking responsibility of our own lives. So how we have responsibility to make things happen. So we should not be relying on outside things, outside factors, that if something will happen, then I will do this. If I get chance, then only I will do this. So responsibility is basically responsibility. So you have the ability to respond accordingly. So whatever happens in the outside world, you take responsibility and you act accordingly. The ability to choose your response. I am what I am today because of choice I made yesterday.
Correct.
So it is not anybody's fault. Whatever you are, whatever you are performing, or whatever is your condition, there is something which you have done, with the choices you have made, the decision you had made earlier, that defines your present and will define your future. Effective people don't blame conditions, circumstances for their behavior as reactive people do. There is some difference between react versus response. So there are reactive people and responsible people. So reactive people are those who act quickly without sufficient thought. So whatever happens in their life, they will react accordingly. So if bad happens, they will react bad. Something good happens, then they will react good. Responsible people take time to choose best response. So accordingly, they will choose the best response. The second point, if people treat them well, they will feel well. If I'm being treating well, if somebody is respecting me, if my student is respecting me, I will feel very good. I will be very happy in the class. And if any student has made some mischief in the class, or somebody has disturbed me while I'm talking, I will not feel good, and the whole lecture will not be good. So my feeling is in somebody's help, in somebody else's hand. So I have given the remote to somebody else. So he is controlling my feelings. He can make me happy or he can make me sad. So when we see the responsible people, they don't get too happy or too sad by outside forces. So outside forces doesn't have anything to do with their response. Reactive people cannot control emotion. They are very weak in controlling their emotions. And responsible people, they are the masters of their emotions. They can control their emotions. Reactive people, next point we can see, their decision changes according to their mood. As I said earlier, so their decision will be changing according to their mood. Even outside conditions, like weather is good, they will feel good. So they will behave properly, very good. If there is something, it is summer, the weather is very hot, they are not feeling comfortable. So even their mood depends on that, and they react accordingly. So they make decisions based on their principle and values. Here we can see responsible people have nothing to do with the weather, have nothing to do with somebody outside sources. Whatever their behavior is, it is controlled by their values and principles, on what values they are living their life and what are their principles in their life. So they lead their life according to their values and principle, and feelings like outside sources have nothing to do with their feelings. Here there is the equation E plus R is equal to O. This equation tells us about our outcome. So if we want our outcome to be good, for example, if I want to go and attend an interview, for example, this is I'm referring to the final year students, those who are coming for the campus interviews, and suddenly it start raining or some other problem with the conditions. So that is the event. So event plus response is equal to outcome. So event I cannot change. I cannot stop the rain. I cannot stop the hot weather outside. I cannot stop the interviewer, those who are coming early or something like that. So these are the events. I can change my response. I can change my response. I can take a umbrella and go to attend the interview. Or if the interview is early, then I can wake up early. I can get up early and I can be there at earlier time. So if I want outcome that interview should be attended, then I will change my response. Nothing will happen by cursing to the event or doing something about event. You cannot do anything about event. So it is unchangeable, not in our control. Response in our control, it can impact or change the outcome. So here is the picture. This person, he wanted the outcome to be an athlete. So somehow he changed his response and he find a way to take part in this type of athlete game. And so he has changed his response because he wanted an outcome. Now we talk about taking initiative. What is initiative? We need to understand this. Taking initiative doesn't mean being pushy or aggressive. So if I want to take initiative, I'm not going to push others or I'm not being aggressive. It does mean recognizing our responsibility to make things happen. We need to clearly understand our responsibility and accordingly we have to act. Reactive people become victimized and under control of outside conditions, not in charge of their lives and destiny. They blame outside forces such as other people, circumstances, even the stars for their own situations. So they can make responsible for anybody for their unsuccessfulness or whatever they don't do. They will find a way. Because of weather this happened, because of timing this happened, or because of the stars. मेरी तो किस्मत ही खराब है. So they can find a way to blame. Here you can see circle of concern and circle of influence. It is very important. We have to find out our level of proactivity. Let's look at where we focus our time and energy. And at the bottom you can see time and energy is limited. Whatever time we have, whatever energy we have got today is limited. It is wasting and it will not come back again. So we have to focus. We have wide range of concerns in our daily lives. We will see we have so many concerns. Our health, for example, COVID-19 is the current concern we are concerned about, and so many others like jobs for final year, problem at college, government, who will win the cricket, economy, what other people think of me. For some people this is the concern. They keep thinking about what other people are thinking about me. They waste time in this. Weather condition, celebrities committed suicide. So many people making videos and they are thinking about that, what will be the cause, what must have happened, who is responsible. They are wasting their time in that and nothing will change or by thinking of them. What you read, what you buy, this is all your concern. When we look closely, we find that there are few concerns in which we have no real control. That is called circle of concern. So if we see all these things, we will see that more than 80% things are that which we have no control. Cricket कौन जीतेगा उसमें हमारा कोई control नहीं है. How celebrities are spending their day, we have no control on that. What will happen in some movie that has nothing? So we have no control on that, and you find very few things where you have your control. So when you will see all these things, you will find some things where we have control, such as where you spend your time. You have control on that. How much effort you put in your study, for example, for students, they have control on that. Do you eat healthy food? So there might be some more. Do you exercise? Do you, whatever is in your control? That is your circle of influence. When you, whatever you do, the things which is in your control, that is your circle of influence. So if we see, this is the circle of concern where we put everything. We put celebrities' lives here. We put Facebook here. We put all the other concerns. We put COVID-19, whatever we have. And in the center, we put on things which we have control, circle of influence. So if we concentrate on circle of concern outside, our circle of influence will shrink. When you focus on circle of influence, it enlarges. When you focus on circle of concern, it shrinks. I will show you by this picture. So when you start spending time on the things which you have control, which you can do, then you can influence more people. And if you spend your time on things which you have no control, then you will lose your influence on other people also. So this is the thinking of proactive focus and reactive focus. Now we can talk a little bit about direct, indirect, and no control problems. There might be some problem involving your own behavior. The first point is problem involving your own behavior. How we can solve it? Solve by working on our habits. We can work on our habits and change it. It is in our control. Indirect problem involving other people behavior. Some other people is troubling you. Some other people is giving. What we can do? Can use different method to influence others. Still, we cannot do anything about his behavior or his reaction, whatever he do. We can still change our method of influence. We can take different methods. Then there is no control problem. We can do nothing about, such as our past. This is just an example. We cannot do anything about our past. So what we can do in this? Smile genuinely and peacefully, accept these problems and learn to live with them even though we don't like them. In this way, we don't empower these problems to control us. So if we keep thinking about these problems which we cannot do anything, or which is the past, so we are wasting our today by thinking about that. So we can just simply accept it, genuinely smile, and learn to live with that.
Right. Right.
Think win-win. Thank you, sir. Think win-win. This is very important at today's scenario, where people think that if I'm the winner, then other person should be loser. That somebody has to lose. We think in that way. It is a philosophy of human interaction. It is a frame of mind that constantly seeks mutual benefits in all human interactions. We need to first understand that alone we are nothing. We are dependent on others. We are interdependent. Okay, in my success, I have to be dependent on others. Or for others also, they are dependent on me. So we work like a team. So alone we are nothing. So we need to understand that. It is not your way or my way, it is the better way. So we cannot say that according to me it should happen like this way, or so we need to find a better way by discussion. Let's look at different alternative of dealing with situations. So first situation is win-lose. I win, you lose. That's the comparison. If someone thinks that he wants to win and other should lose, so that is a comparison. Lose win. So it should not be like this also, that I will lose. I accept it. So that means you are a loser. It cannot be lose-lose. Lose-lose when it happens when two win-lose people get together. When two people like this, those who think that I win, you lose, when they come together, they both are losers. They both lose because they're trying to pull each other. So what is the best situation? What is the best solution is win-win. It is the only real alternative in interdependent realities where we are interdependent on each other. So win-win is the only situation. There is no other there is no other solution for interdependency. Here, understanding. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So this is the picture you can see on your screen. This is the ophthalmologist, if I'm pronouncing right, the examiner, eye examiner. So this person goes to the eye examiner and he shows that I'm not able to see properly, clearly. So you check my eyes. He check his eyes for a few minutes, and this eye examiner, he says, okay, you try my glasses, I can see this. So the person, he says, how can I see from your glasses? I cannot see anything. It is not clear. Are you mad or something? Then this examiner, he says that I'm using these glasses for last 10 years and I have no problem. It is crystal clear for me. So this is just an example that you cannot put your solution to each and every one. So we need to understand others. Communication is very important skill in our life. We spend most of waking hour communicating. We spend many years to learn, read and write. For reading and writing, we spend a lot of years. We spend many years to speak also. But what about listening? Our tendency is to be understood. This is the human tendency. Most people don't listen to understand, they listen with intent to reply. People put their own biography or other people's behavior, basically putting their glasses. So whatever been my experience, I try to put on others, which is not true. So everybody has different experiences of their lives. Everybody has come from different different places. They have different perceptions.
Right.
Listening with empathy. This is also Mr. Abhishek Charles Peter also has discussed once in guest interaction, I guess, in one of our workshop. Empathy is very important in hospitality industry. Listening gets inside our person's frame of reference. You see the world the way they see the world. So basically you understand their paradigm. Empathy is not sympathy. So we need to understand this, that sympathy is something different. Sympathy is where we don't understand their feelings, but we have, yes.
Sir, I have one question. Basically, what is the difference between give me a moment, sir. Basically, a body needs and a self need. I mean, there are two kind of needs what we normally faces. One is the body needs and one is the self need. So, is there a difference between that, or both are the same thing?
So, body need actually. Body needs basically is materialistic things, like body need air condition. Okay, body need car to travel. It doesn't want to walk. Okay, it need a comfortable chair. So these are the body needs. But
very difficult question Abhishek sir has asked. Like very true question. These both things are different. And Abhishek sir, I will say that if we can answer this question, the life will be very easy. The need of the body, what are the need of the body? You need, roti, kapda and makan. This is your physical needs. These are the needs of the body. Now in the changing world, many things have also, the luxuries are also, they have become the needs. The materialistic things, they have become the needs. All these are physical needs, the body, which the body needs. Now the need of the self. What is self? Self means your inner soul. What we can, so like in different religion we say different thing, like we can say atma, we can say ruh, we can say soul, we can, all the religions, they have got different word for that. And to satisfy those things, the needs are totally different. We have to look inwards to satisfy those needs. The need of the self is happiness. खुश रहना चाहते हैं हम. We need to be satisfied. We need to be in a feeling of joy. And this feeling will come when we are able to evaluate our life. Most of the time, our inner soul or our self, it is unsatisfied because we think that our need of the bodies are remaining unsatisfied. So this lead to a feeling that my body is not getting the requirement, I don't have the materialistic thing, so I am not satisfied. This feeling of unsatisfaction, it will lead to a feeling of frustration, and my inner soul or my or self, he, it is not satisfied. So for the satisfaction of the self, you need to look inward. You have to evaluate your requirement. You have to look at life, that what are necessary for you, what is required out of this life. These materialistic things are required, I very well agree. Nobody is denying the fact, when we have come in this life, we need all the materialistic things, but the happiness lies somewhere else. And this happiness, this harmony, this feeling of joy, this is the requirement of the self.
Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Saurabh sir, for saving my life today. So,
Thank you,
so we
sir.
were talking about listening with empathy. You understand emotionally and intellectually. When you understand a person emotionally and intellectually, experts say that communication is represented by words 10%, by sound 30%, and by body language 60%. The empathetic listening, you listen with your ears, but more importantly, listen with your eyes and with your heart. You listen with your right and left brain, basically. The next point we have here is the synergizing. Synergizing basically means is talmel bithana. It is based on relationship with family, with friends, with colleagues, or in business, to find out a better way. Valuing the difference. If there is a difference in my perception and your perception, so I value that difference. People don't see the world as it is, but as they are. So as we had discussed at the earlier part of this slide, that we have different perception, different assumptions, and different paradigm. So people don't see the world as it is, but as they are. So whatever education, whatever traditional values they have got, whatever principle they have got, they see the world accordingly. We should value the difference because those differences add to our knowledge. If I find somebody who is not agree with me, so I will try to find the difference. I value that difference. It may be possible that two people disagree and both are right. So it is quite possible that two people disagree on something, but both are right. So when I become aware of difference in our perception, I say, good, you see it differently. Help me to see what you see. I don't need to talk to someone who agrees with me. I want to communicate with you because you see it differently. I value the difference. Okay. And I learned it from Mittal sir also, that every time whenever I say that presentation was good or anything is good, he says, I don't want to hear all these things. You tell me the criticism. You tell me what was the problem. Okay. So this is the good point, that we should always look for the improvement and we should value the difference if there is any. I create an environment for synergy. If I follow this, then I create an environment for synergy. Thank you so much. These were the points which I have covered. I hope this add value to your lives and you learn something from this. Thank you so much.
I would like to say something here.
Yes.
There was a very good presentation given by you about win-win, wherein all of us can win. There was a game which I played recently, in which 5 people were called on the stage, and all 5 of them were given balloons, inflated balloons, and they were told to keep the balloons safe. The balloons should remain inflated, and in the end, whoever has an inflated balloon will win. So, for example, there were the 5 of us sitting here: Pinky, Abhishek, Saurabh, me, and Azhar. All 5 of us have inflated balloons, and the game is that we have to keep our balloons inflated by the end of the game. So and the game began. Now, after the game began, what everyone was doing was trying to find a way to puncture the other person's balloon.
Yes, yes.
So I punctured Abhishek's balloon. Then Abhishek and I punctured Pinky's balloon. Then Pinky, I, and Abhishek punctured Saurav's balloon. And then the 4 of us punctured Azhar's balloon. And all our balloons got punctured. And the game got over. After the end of the game, who won? Nobody won. Everybody lost.
Nobody.
Yes, sir.
Whereas,
very rightly said, sir. Wonderful.
Whereas if each one of us decided not to puncture anybody else's balloon, then all 5 of us would have won. So that was something which I remembered from your presentation, Nazar sir, that it is not necessary that to win we have to make the other person lose. I can win, and Azhar can win, and Saurabh, we all 5 of us can win together.
Yes,
very good, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And sir, I may want to add that if this feeling is prevalent in the society, there will be no chaos in the society. The restlessness that we are facing nowadays, it will all get over, and it will be a very nice world to live. Thank you, sir. Students, these all things will be very important. These things are very important in your life, and try to inculcate these characters in your life. And education is important, your skills are important, technical know-how is important, but this is the thing which will always, like, it will garnish your life, and this will help in your later stage also. Person who has got all these life skills, at that stage you will come to know that you will only be needing these things only. Technical know-how is important, but to lead a team, these things are really very important. I would like to thank Abhishek sir for such a wonderful host. He has given fabulous introduction of everybody, and I must say the questions he has asked are really very difficult, and I'm really very happy that he has got so much interest in this subject, and I really wish Abhishek sir will also be studying this subject, and I know that he will do wonderful in this subject because he has got that curiosity, and that thing is only required for anything in life. Motivation is required, and these things are required. And I will want to thank most importantly our director sir. Chef Professor Anand Mittal sir. Like I will just say that he has given us wonderful opportunity. Like now, when we started everything, it was like we were having sleepless nights. Mere se nahi hoga, sir. That was the thing we were saying. But he had faith in us, and thank you, sir, for the trust you have shown in us. And we are able to generate the skill during this time, and we have really learned, all of us have learned a lot due to this. Thank you, sir, and keep giving us this kind of opportunity. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank the whole team of IHM. Like we are delivering the topic, but there are many people who have done all the artwork, they have done the back ends, they have done many things that they have helped with. This is the support, back office support, which we got. That is why we were able to generate this session. I will want to thank our CEO, sir. He has helped us in executing everything so smoothly. I will want to thank Honorable Joint Secretary, sir. Like all the ideas, they are of Sharad, sir. Like he's always involved with everything. He's such a busy person, but he always makes sure that the topics are relevant and we are able to do everything. He ensures this. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Honorable Secretary Sir. Like Raman Sir is the motivation for everything. What I should say. Like he ensures that everybody, he is very fair that way. He gave equal chances to everybody, equal opportunity to everybody. Whenever we are in trouble, whenever we need his help, he is always there. And I will really want to thank him and the whole management for giving us all the support, all the infrastructure, everything that we need. And due to that only, we are able to achieve all these things. Thank you, sir. If with your kind permission, I would like to end the session.
Just before ending, I would like to add the name of Colonel Suresh Gupta, the Director Administration, who is a soldier in the field. So he is the person who is actually taking care of all the logistics right now. You know, while we are at home in the lockdown, he is the one in the field and he is doing such a good job. So thank you to Colonel Gupta also, among so many others. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to Saurabh sir for having organized such a nice session on human values and professional ethics. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
God bless all. Be safe, stay at home, and may God bless all of you.